In this video, let's discuss about what is value column. If you faced any interviewer like me, then you can expect this question because I love to ask this question and to know up to what extent people are experienced in database dimension designing. Okay, first let's see where this value column property and what's the use of it. If you go to the dimension and if you select any attribute, you will find three different column properties. One is key column, another one is name column, and the last one is value column. So in one of the interview question videos, we discussed about key column and name column, and you all know that if you have a key column selected and no name column selected, then by default it will take the key column whatever you have given there. For example, in this case, you have key column and you don't have a name column, and hence the name column will be the same as the key column, that is days to manufacture in this particular case. Let me select an attribute and show you how this works. Okay, I've written a small MDX query with calculated measures. The first calculated measure is for key column, which will display the key column of the attribute English product name. You can see English product name key column and English product name column value, name column, and the third one is value column value. Okay, and I called all these things along with the sales amount in my column, and in rows I specified English product name. If I execute this, as you all know, the key column is set to English product name, so it is showing English product name, and the name column is not set to anything. If you see here, for the English product name, the name column and the value column is empty, so the name column obviously will take whatever it is there in the key column. In this case, the key column is English product name, so it takes the name column. And the value column is also none. That means nothing is selected for the value column. So the value column will take whatever it is there for the name column. In this case, it is English product name again. So for the key column and the name column and the value column, it's the same English product name. Let me show you a small, by making a small change here. What I'm going to do here is, let me select Spanish product name. Okay, I selected Spanish product name as the name column. Now, if I process this dimension and let me process the whole cube once the dimension is processed successfully. Okay, the dimension processed successfully. Now let me process the cube pretty quickly. Here it is. Let me go and process the whole cube. Okay, cube process successfully. Now let me go and execute the same query again. The change should be for the name column and also for the value column, because the value column is null in this case, which means it will take the name column, whatever you have selected. The name column you have selected here is Spanish product name, right? So now let me execute it. And you can see the key column remains the same, English product name, and the name column is what I have provided with the Spanish product name. So it has taken the Spanish product name, and the value column is not taking the key column value, it's taking the name column value, and hence it is showing Spanish product name. Now let's come back to the story. Why we need the value column? I have two reasons. For those two reasons I use value column normally, and I don't see any other advantage of value column apart from those two. The first one is to carry extra luggage. So using this value column, I can carry extra luggage. For example, if I want to carry the product name in all the three, which I may need in my report designing, then instead of having three different attributes, I can have one, the key column as English product name column as Spanish, and the third one French. So if my requirement says that I have to show a product name in all the three, I can either have the three separate attributes, one for each, or I can have one attribute and I can make use of value column. Or in short, if I want to carry any extra luggage with my attribute, then I can use this value column. That is one advantage I can think of. Let me show you that. I process the dimension, and let me quickly process the cube, and then we can execute the MDX query and see whether it's retrieving the French product name 2 in the value column. Now if I execute this, you can see this is French product name for all purpose bikes 10, and this is Spanish product name, and this is English product name. So this is how you guys use calculated members to retrieve the value column and name column, which they can use in the reports. This is one of the advantage. And the second thing that I can think of is to carry the data types. For example, let me go to the date dimension. That is one of the good example. Okay. Oops, I missed. I did a mistake. I clicked the browser. Okay, let me go to the date dimension, and let me close this guy before that. And if you see, this is date key, and if you go to the key column, it will be the date key. And yeah, here you can see the name column is selected as full date alternate key, and by default, whatever the name column that you have selected, that will be taken as varchar. If you try to give, okay, if you want to take date data type, for example, if you select date data type, then it will say error here. The date data type is not allowed for the name column property. Varchar should be used. So that name column always takes varchar, even if you provide a date attribute or integer attribute or whatever. Floating data type, whatever you provide, it will take only string. It will convert to the string and it will display the string values. So that is one of the problem we have in using the name column. So how you can carry the date which can be used in your third-party reporting applications. For example, there are so many reporting applications like Dundas, XMLA, blah, blah, blah. So how can you carry the date format, date column type along with the attribute? So for that, you can use the value column. That's one of the advantage in using the value column. For example, let me take the full date alternate key here. Okay, and if you see the data type it has picked is date. So people can query the value column to show the dates or calendars in the third-party applications instead of going with the name column here. If you see, the data type is taken as date. So this is one advantage. For example, if you have any name column here, something like, sorry, integer column, let's say week number of the year. I think this should be an integer. Okay, now this is tiny int. If you see the data type of the week number of the year, it is tiny int. Okay, now let me select the same for the name column, week number of the year, and you can see the data type, it has taken the varchar. And if you still want to carry the same or some other attribute with the original data type, then you can use the value column. So this is about the value column. The value column is used either to carry the extra luggage along with the attribute, or you can carry the data type of the attribute of the column along with the attribute, because the name column always takes string or varchar type of data. And this is really useful if you want to carry some predefined text or hard-coded text along with the attribute, which can be used by querying through MDX, and you can use it in reports. Then you can make use of the value column. That's an extra slot for you guys to use it. So this is about the value column, and hope you understood the concepts. Subscribe for more videos on SSIS, SSAS, and SSRS interview questions. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.